Hey guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Argylle. Now this movie had a lot of promotion going forward. There were lots of adverts and a lot of trailers promoting this film and really showing this off as a really pretty much an action spy drama or action spy comedy. So really a lot of the trailers look pretty promising for this movie. I think they really put a lot of emphasis on Henry Cavill's character as Argylle and lots of different characters throughout this film, showing off some good action set pieces and really just making this like an action spy drama, something in the inspiration of the Kingsman movies, Johnny English movies, so on and so forth. So does this movie live up to the expectations? And obviously, this is one of the first films I've watched in the new year. Does it live up to hype to kick off the new year with some good movies? And the answer I have to say is no. And to be honest, I actually would go further and actually say this is not a good film. I've really had a hard time watching this movie. It just lacks a lot of things in this film. I think the plot is very messy. I think they really missed the mark to actually really have some charismatic characters and give them some sort of development, and it just really missed the mark for me. So I have to be honest with you, I was really disappointed with this film. Now, the majority of my disappointment with this film has to really be its story. The plot is really convoluted, and it's actually convoluted to the point where it's not cohesive or actually links to the movie very well. So a lot of the movie, from probably the trailers you've seen, it looks about Agent Argylle, Henry Cavill's character, and you probably expect to see more from him and his geriatric moves and his charisma to really be brought into this movie. But it really isn't that at all. So the real story of this film is obviously about Argylle, the character that Henry Cavill plays, but it's actually he's in a part of a story that's being written by a writer. So they have a writer called Ellie Conway, who is a spy novelist, and she wrote the Argylle novels. But then after coming across her final novel, she hasn't got any material to end the story. So she gets tangled with an event. She gets entangled with another spy called Aiden, and they get into various foreseeable events that happen, and they just get into a spew of events, essentially. I can't explain what the events are or what goes on, but they kind of make more of those characters the focus of this film, which really felt very off-putting. Now, I don't mind if this was the direction that they really wanted to go with, but there was really a lack of charisma and enthusiasm in this movie that just didn't enlighten me. And everything just felt flat from an action point of view, from a set piece point of view. Just it didn't really bring the movie up at all. Because I think really just the whole story of this film just felt very unchronological. And the movie set pieces were not choreographed very well. I really felt that this movie just lacked a lot of the joy and the excitement. It just felt just completely, bland and boring. So that for me was probably one of the most biggest disappointments of this film. Another thing I have to point out with disappointment with this film is even the action of this film, and to an extent the visuals, especially the CGI. The CGI is just terrible. It looks really artificial to the point that it looks green screen heavy throughout. It doesn't look real when you actually look at the set pieces. I think there was one in particular where it's near the end. They're fighting on a ship and there's smoke bombs, various colors. You have the two spies in this movie, not Henry Cavill spy, but Ellie Conway spy and Aiden. They fight amongst each other, amongst a lot of guards, and it's not choreographed well. I mean, they have visuals that looks colorful to that perspective, but it was just really, really poorly done. There's a lot of things about this film, it just fails to impress me. I even think being trying to think of positives for this film is just, in my view, doesn't exist. I just think this movie doesn't attempt to do being a good spy movie very well, nor do great action, and even comedy. I didn't think the comedy was even good at all. I feel the comedy just feels the exact same tropes and the crutches that Hollywood has been doing for a long time, and it feels just 2-3 years out of date now. There's not really any sort of writing or script that they can think of to actually make comedy exist in these films. So I don't really see why they even bother adding it or even calling this a comedy or a spy comedy. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, overall, I've got many disappointments with this film. This movie really, I felt, missed the mark massively. I thought it was going to be something completely different to what I watched, and it really wasn't. I know they're trying to find a way to link this to the Kingsman films, and if this was really their attempt at doing that, I don't really have much optimism if this is the approach that they're going with. So overall, if I have to rate Argylle, I have to give this movie a 3 out of 10. There's only very few things I could really point out with this film. I think for the assembled cast that they have of these actors and actresses, it really baffles me that this is the quality that they went with. I mean, I did complain a lot about the action of this movie. I think there was some decent action moments with some music that looked okay, but the visuals and the CGI just was so off-putting, and it just disorientated the experience to me. I think the plot was the biggest turn-off for me. I just didn't really think the plot really made any sense for this film, and it didn't suit it. So I felt the direction that they went for the story just was so off-putting, and for the runtime as well, it was not sequenced very well. There's a lot of things I have to really point at this film that's not good. But anyways, it sounds like I'm ranting about this movie a lot. I would say for you guys, you have to go watch it yourself. I'm not going to kind of hint on any spoilers or anything about the film to really go into an in-depth sort of nitpick at this film. So I would say it's probably best to judge that you guys watch it for yourself. But unfortunately for me, this is a really disappointing film. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Dislike if you want to dislike. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.